Hello everybody, this is Gretchen Heidel, and I am here on Facebook Live talking tonight about something that we're all kind of going through, and that is the virus shutting down of the world, and commerce and all those things that are going on. And I wanted to say hi to everybody and talk about that. And I'm always coming on talking about astrology, and that is obviously something that I do. Hi Trina, how you doing? If you're just joining, I'd love to have you say hi. And so I'm always talking about astrology, and I am a full-time astrologer, and that's what I do. But a lot of times I don't talk as much about life coaching. And so I am a certified NLP master life coach. For several years I worked as a corporate life coach. Hi Almir, how you doing? And I was sort of as an extension of HR, and I did life coaching with staff. And also I'm a mindset coach currently. I even do that right now, where I work for a writing company that teaches people how to write and publish books and get their books published. And so I do that as well. So I do a lot of mindset coaching, and I'm also a master hypnotherapist. Hey Jan, how you doing? And I do all sorts of things like that. So I wanted to talk a little bit from the mindset coaching with what we're going through, the anxiety, the craziness. So if you're just joining, say hi, like and share this with your friends, because boy, this is a big topic. A lot of people I'm hearing are very anxious or depressed or just feeling down about this virus, this world situation that we're in. And I would like to know from the folks that are here with me tonight, and if you're even watching this on the replay, on what level, 0 to 10, is this affecting you or bothering you? I'm not talking about if this is real or not real, or if they're overreacting or not. I don't care about all that. I wonder how you're feeling. 0 feeling, level 0, this is not really affecting you at all. You don't care. It doesn't matter to you. Level 10, you're really stressed out. You're feeling anxious. You're very, very worried, concerned for the future, all that stuff. So I'd love to have you post below what your level is. What is your level of freaked out do you feel about this? Because that's what I'm going to be talking about tonight, and giving you 3 things, tips, tools, techniques that you can use in order to overcome some of those feelings and those emotions. So if you're just joining tonight, like and share with your friends, and go ahead and post kind of how this is making you feel, all this kind of crazy stuff that's going on in the news. So I'm going to get right into it. As a mindset coach and an NLP life coach, I often talk to people who have gone through some sort of trauma in their life, or a really hard event, or something that, is really affecting them in some way. Maybe they have anxiety from that event. Maybe they have, oh, hey Patrice, how you doing? Level 2 freaked out. Okay, good. Not too terribly freaked out, I guess, is that's good. Level 6, Robin. Okay. Yep, that's a little higher. And so go ahead and post your level of kind of how you're feeling about this, 0 to a 10 being worse. And so one of the things that I would tell people to do, Trina's level 5. Yeah, so that we got some good levels going on here where it's a healthy level, where you're kind of hovering around a 5 or a 6. And so I often coach people that have just gone through some trauma. Maybe it's a childhood trauma that they're sort of still holding on to, or maybe it's a current situation. Maybe there's things that are out of your control, like your family. I'm not talking about the virus right now. I'm just talking about current events of how could you be stressed out? And maybe your family's stressing you out. Maybe you have really a ton of things going on. Jan says level 4, if she can keep her business open. That's a lot of people are not just worried or stressed out about the virus itself, but what implications will this have? Will it be financial? Will it be a long-term health thing? Will it even maybe not affect you, but affect a relative or a friend or somebody? Or let's talk about what level are you stressed out about toilet paper? What's that level? Level 10, right? How are we going to get toilet paper or supplies? That could be a stressor too. So So there's a lot of things right now that are kind of out of control, out of our control. And so one of the first things I tell people to do when they're really stressed, really spinning, let's say they're really spinning over something, their work, their job, this whole coronavirus, I mean, that can cause us to spin a lot and think about it a lot. One of the first things I tell people to do is go from macro, which is big picture, to micro, which is a small, what you can kind of do in your daily life. Trina said level 2 because she got 12 rolls of toilet paper today. Good girl. Everybody's going to be messaging you. Where did you get that? So if you go from macro is all this big picture stuff, and I'm a big picture, and if any of you guys have ever taken your Myers-Briggs test, and if you know if the last two are a J or a P is big picture and J is your kind of more fine detail. So if you guys are a J or P, if you know your Myers-Briggs, go ahead and post that. But if you are a P, which is more big picture oriented, and if you're somebody that likes to know kind of what is the big picture, it's really tough because we have to go from that big picture to micro. So in other words, what do you do, okay, in your daily life, and what can you control of your little tiny world that you live in? Okay, so you wake up at a certain time, and that's the first thing I do with clients. When I have clients that come in that have been through a very traumatic event, maybe they went through a domestic abuse, maybe they went through some sort of thing. I don't always get life coaching clients that come to me just for like, I want to be better at my career. Sometimes I have people that come in that really went through a hardcore trauma. Maybe they just got deployed, to a place and they witnessed war. PTSD is a big thing. I was diagnosed myself at the age of 30 with PTSD, and I love working with that population because it's near and dear to my heart for sure. That's one of the reasons why I became a certified life coach, because I like to talk with people about stress and anxiety and all that. And so when we have something that's really big and overwhelming, there's not much we can do about that as far as the world goes. But what can you do in your daily life, and what are some steps you can take to have those things be positive? Let's say it's to watch a fun movie. Let's say it's to take a bubble bath. Let's say it's to make a really good, healthy, nutritious meal. Let's say it's to play with the kids. All those things, whatever you can do is to get away from that big picture thinking too much, because it can be really overwhelming and it's sometimes isn't helpful. So that can stress you out. Number 2, some of you may be able to relate to this, and go ahead and like and share. Stacy Jean said, thank you for going live. Good advice in times like this is needed. Yeah, a lot of people are inside right now. And, we're all kind of just, feeling a little maybe down or whatever over this stuff. So this is good. And this is the community. So go ahead and post what level stress, 0 to 10, 10 being worse, that you're experiencing on a personal level through this stuff. Okay, so the second thing is looping. I want to talk about looping because looping is a very interesting little phenomenon that happens. Anybody looking at their phone more obsessively, looking at the news, looking at what happened, what's going on, what's happening? Does anybody do that? Or are you checking in CNN? Or are you talking about it a lot? So when we get anxious, studies have shown that anxiety actually is a way of the brain trying to solve a problem. So let's not even say it's this coronavirus. Let's say we got dumped abruptly in a relationship, or we were fired from our job, or toilet paper, you can't find that toilet paper, or something's going on in life where we are first out of control, and then our brain starts to loop. And so you ever get broken up with and you just think about it and think about it and think about, well, they did this and I did this and what happened? And oh my God, da 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 da. That's called looping. And so in a way, this telephone situation is basically what the deal is, where we're constantly looking at our phone. That's looping. I've seen some people's posts like, why am I looking at my phone every 2 seconds to see what's happening? Oh my God, somebody else died and this happened and the rates are going up. That's looping. So let me tell you what looping is. If you have an addiction, you're looping, okay? If you have OCD, you're most likely looping, okay? And so looping means that there's 3 steps to any kind of sort of problem. Let's say you had OCD and you wanted to check the stove to see, you're checking the stove to see if you remembered to turn the stove off. So the first step is, thought, did I turn that stove off? Is that really off, or is the front door really locked? Is that really happening? So the second step is to actually go and check the stove, check the lock on the door, okay? Third step is complete. That activity is complete. In people who have looping issues, the third step is actually missing. It can be the same for an alcoholic. So I really want to drink a beer. Oh my God, I got to get beer, blah, blah, blah. Go get the beer, drink a beer, go back to step 1. The third step of satisfied is missing in a way. So the same thing can happen with the telephone situation where we're constantly checking. Look, there's a saying, knowledge is power, and knowledge is power for a reason. So the brain wants to keep us safe. So if we have more knowledge, we'll be more powerful. But the brain can also overdo it, where we get into an anxiety looping, where the third step of, okay, I learned enough for today, is missing. So for example, with OCD, a lot of OCD folks end up giving themselves a number to cut themselves off. That creates a false sense of satisfaction, but it is a strategy that a lot of folks use when they have OCD that actually works. So let's say you've probably heard of this. If you don't have OCD yourself, you might actually have heard of it, where people will check the lock 3 times, or 5 times, or 10 times. Whatever the thing is, they often have a number. And in OCD, that's the brain's strategy for giving the person a sense that we can now close the loop, that we're satisfied. Remember that third step that's missing when we're looping? So how do you know when you're satisfied? How do you know you checked your phone enough? How do you know you saw enough news? How do you know you talked about it enough? What gives you that sense of satisfaction? And that's what I want. I can't tell you what to do, but I can give you an idea of, like, the other night, I literally was like, okay, after 10 o'clock, I'm not going to look at any more, or 9 o'clock or wherever it was, I'm not going to look at any more news for today. Because news, like, remember, we think we're keeping ourselves safe, but I'm home. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not doing anything. I'm self-isolating, just to let you guys know. I'm working, but I'm not I'm self-isolating. I'm not going out. So I don't need to keep myself so safe. In other words, I don't need to keep looking at that news and stuff, because it's really not doing anything other than jacking me up and making me all anxious over this thing. So when we close the loop, okay, with checking the news, constant checking the news, that actually helps to create a satisfaction. And you have to give yourself your own cutoff. Maybe you just check the news 3 times and you know you're done. Or maybe you give yourself a time cutoff, or whatever it is. But the good thing is to make sure you give yourself a cutoff, because constantly doing it and giving yourself that loop, sometimes people just, maybe it's not even the virus. Maybe people just obsessively check their phone all day, every day. You know, at the end, I don't know if you guys have Apple phones, but the Apple phone says your screen time was XYZ hours a week, you know, and so you might want to cut that back a little bit, because that's looping. The brain is kind of going through some things. Hey, Doreen, how you doing? And so if you're just joining, please say hi, like and share, because you know what, your friends and your family need this advice too. It's not just you guys. And also, if you could rate your level of stress over this thing, 0 to 10, 10 being the worst. Okay, so what we want to do is we want, third step way of looking at it is, during every downtime, during every, wartime or time of stress or whatever thing, there's always opportunity. And I want you guys to look around. Where is the opportunity now? It's not looting. I'm not talking about looting stores. Okay. But I want you to look at opportunity. Where is the opportunity? So sometimes we might be home for a while. Okay. We're going to be potentially in a situation where we have to self-isolate, or even mandatory isolation. And so where's the opportunity in that? Maybe you always wanted to learn how to cook a meal, okay? And that was like a thing, and you never knew how to do that. Or you wanted to read a book. Most libraries across the country have a little code that you can go into a public library. If you don't have one, you can open an account, and then you can actually get books free online, okay, and games and different things. So you can do that. How about starting a YouTube channel? Maybe you always wanted to do a particular craft with your children and have that time, because guess what? Us Americans, we're really busy, and it's prized in our culture for being busy. Like, there's a thing in our culture that, like, if someone says, "Hey, how you doing?" If you don't respond with, "Oh my God, my life is so crazy and busy, how about you?" If you just said, "Oh my God, I'm so peaceful and relaxed today. Oh, I just feel amazing. I felt like I had 10 massages this morning." People would look at you like you were literally crazy. And so in our culture, we have a little expectation of, you gotta be busy. You gotta be at the grind. They call it the grind. And you have to always be doing, and working. What are you working on? But what are you working on, And so in our culture, we prize that. But this is a prized time for connecting with our family, with the people who we live with, potentially, our animals even. Like, if any of you are busy at work and you have animals, you don't maybe spend enough time with them. This is a time where you could start that exercise program. Whatever it is that you wanted to do, this is the time. Look for the opportunity, okay, in whatever sort of, doom and gloom that's kind of happening and going on. If we look for that opportunity, it's something that we can work on. We can actually, enhance ourselves. Maybe we wanted to learn a new language. Maybe we wanted to learn how to play guitar better, or, get better at something else, like working on your sports car, or like whatever it is that you wanted to do. This is kind of that little opportunity that we get. And so things are going to be unfolding. Things are going to be maybe a little precarious in the future, and we don't know what's going to happen with finance and all that stuff. So right now, doing those things will help to kind of bring it in a little bit. I have no magic pill for this, but I do have ways of managing all sorts of stress and anxiety, because when a person has an anxiety, maybe underlying disorder or PTSD like myself, we're kind of doing this stuff every day. We have, I have certain regimens that I do for myself every day to keep myself, in check and in line and feeling good. And if anybody has questions below about PTSD or anxiety disorders, I'd love to hear them. Or even if you're asking for a friend or somebody, but do it now, because I'm going to be logging off soon. But I want to reach out to you all. I care about everybody deeply. I care about the society, the world, the cultures that we live in. And, these times are a little bit tough. So first things first, you go macro to micro. What can you control in your daily life? Maybe you can walk your dogs. Maybe you can, wash your hands more. All those things we want to kind of focus and bring it in. Okay, and not be focusing on that macro big picture. 2, how do you end the looping of news and absorbing, information and talking about it and all that? How can you give it sort of a cutoff or an end? And then 3, where do you look for opportunity in a downtime? Look, anytime in history and in cultures, some of America's greatest companies were created in the Great Depression, early 1900s, companies that have been around for more than 100 years, and they were created in the downtime. So there's always times in life where we have like lots of big strides, and by the way, maybe you've been employed all this time and you just wanted to start your own business, but you didn't have the time to work on it. This is the time right now. So where's the opportunity? What would you like to work on? What would you like to accomplish during this time? Whether it be a week, 2 weeks, you might be self-isolating for a little while. So how do you handle that in a constructive, good way? And also, last but not least, reaching out to people. Look, if you're tired, frustrated, you want to talk about it, I am here. I'd love to get messages from you guys and really stay connected, because this is a good time to go with what's important. What's important in life, and that's friendships, connections with loved ones and family members. So go ahead and reach out to those people in your life, and I hope that we can take this as an opportunity to be able to connect and to do some of the things that we've just been so busy doing, not being able to do all this time. So namaste, everybody. Thank you for listening. I just was coming on for a brief visit. And if you'd like to know more about my life coaching, my hypnosis, and all the things that I do, please go to GretchenHeidel.com to check that out. And be well, be safe, wash your hands, and namaste. Bye.